Because if you look at the amount of households that owned slaves in the South, it was 25%. But I don't give a fuck if it was 1% of households that owned slaves.
Why not try to...
So we've officially reached the point in America where defending slavery is somehow the new edgy hot take. Let that sink in for a second. People are proudly getting on camera to argue why slavery wasn't that bad. Now, you know, I get on here every day and I make these videos and I take whatever views I get. But no matter how low my views go, I will never start platforming bigots and racists just to boost my numbers. Because even if you think you're debating them and making good points, you're still giving them your stage to spew their garbage. And now, Jillian Michaels, yes, the Jillian Michaels from The Biggest Loser, she has decided she's cool with being openly racist in public, so she gets the MAGA show invites. She just tried to defend racism with the exact same cherry-picked, misleading stats that every racist Republican drags out when they're trying to downplay the horrors of slavery.
Have you looked at some of the things that are being reviewed?
Yeah, slavery was a bad thing that was to talk about.
Okay.
Like,
he's not whitewashing slavery.
So
He's not. No,
okay.
he's not. And you cannot tie imperialism and racism and slavery to just one race, which is pretty much what every single exhibit does. But let's talk about the fact that when you look
at slavery,
let's talk about the fact.
I mean, slavery in America was.
Do you realize that only less than 2% of white Americans owned slaves?
But it was a system of white supremacy.
You realize that slavery is thousands of years old?
White people were
Do you know
the slave
who
owners.
was the first race to try to end slavery?
Wait a second.
Well, what's controversial?
I'm very surprised.
This is an extraordinary exercise in historical revisionism.
I'm really surprised.
Do you realize that?
Jillian, I'm surprised that you're trying to litigate who was the beneficiary of slavery and who was not.
What I'm trying to tell you is that
in the context of American history, what are you saying is incorrect by saying that it was white people oppressing black people?
Every single thing is like, oh, no, this is all because white people bad. And that's just not the truth. Like, for example, every single exhibit, I have a list of every single one. Like, people migrated from Cuba because white people bad. Not because of Castro. Yes, no, it's in there. That's what I'm saying. You don't actually know what's in there.
First of all, when they talk about 2% of Americans owning slaves, they fail to mention that slavery was concentrated in the South. So including the population of the North in that number is pretty misleading. But that's not even the worst part. I live in a household of 5 people. If we owned one slave, I would be the person who was considered the slave owner, and the rest of my family wouldn't be. You see, that also skews the numbers, because if you look at the amount of households that owned slaves in the South, it was 25%. But I don't give a fuck if it was 1% of households that owned slaves. We know the impact that had on our society. We know what it does to us today. We knew what it did to people yesterday, and we know what it's going to do to us in the future. The more we try to diminish it, the less likely we are to reconcile it. And I hate the fact that people talk about slavery, but don't want to add into the context the impact of the civil rights movement as well. It is not debatable that because of slavery, Jim Crow, and civil rights, we have communities that are still struggling. It is not debatable that because of slavery, Jim Crow, and civil rights, we have black men serving time in prison. How about instead of trying to whitewash history and diminish the impact of slavery, we go all in on recognizing how shitty it was and how much we still need to do as much as we can to uplift communities that were impacted by it. CNN really needs to stop platforming these fuckheads. Period.
Don't want no enemies or ops. Envy in they heart, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.